Welcome back. This is the last part of the members course. We have a lot to cover, so hang in there. Cover what, you ask? Teamwork and meetings. Good atmosphere and fluent workflow are crucial for successful teamwork. The quality of teamwork sets the pace for organization's success and its ability to reach goals. Meetings are one of the most basic teamwork tools. There are three main purposes for them: open discussion, making decisions, and exchanging information. All three are necessary for things to happen. To make your team's work and meetings effective, we have 7 points for you to consider. Get to know your team members, because the best teams are those where members trust each other. That doesn't necessarily mean befriending them, but at least knowing their background. What skills do they have? What do they do outside your team? What were they like growing up? And so on. Trust has to be vulnerability based, which means that everyone has to know each other's weaknesses and mistakes. This way, no one is ashamed to ask for help. Such genuine trust can only be achieved when meeting in person. And don't forget to share about yourself either. Trust is a two-way street. One of the main problems that new leaders face after taking responsibility is dividing tasks between members and forming clear assignments. Very often, leaders try to do everything themselves, thinking that more responsibility means more work. But beware, since this can quickly lead to the leader burning out. Don't forget that team members join the team because they wanted to contribute themselves. If they have nothing to do, they just get bored and alienated. So be sure to map out all the assignments and divide them so that you, as the leader, have a minimal amount and the others have enough, but then again, not too many. The most important thing about a meeting is that it must have a purpose. To arrange a meeting with no real aim or topics to discuss is pointless and can quickly demotivate team members. But at the same time, team meetings have to be regular. This means you need to plan the work between the meetings so that there would have been progress for you to discuss at the next meeting. Regularity is important because everyone can book that time in advance and then it is always in sight. Also, many members of youth organizations are active in other fields too, so finding time for random meetings may very well be impossible. Depending on how intense your work is, meetings can happen every week, every other week, or even once a month. Meetings have to be mandatory for every team member. If a team member has a good reason to miss out on a meeting, then maybe they can join via Skype or some other channel. But it is much better to have everyone in the same room. Some possible rules to consider for meetings. Devices versus no devices. Are they allowed for presenting information or taking notes? Could they be a distraction? Food versus no food. You might consider having snacks for very long meetings. Having to signal for permission to speak versus everyone speaking freely. Having a designated person who logs the meeting. And having a meeting agenda with timetable and topics. The beginnings of meetings can be slow with everyone thinking about their personal problems. Consider starting a meeting with some kind of an icebreaker that would concentrate participants to the present moment. A good atmosphere can be created by having each member shortly talk about their highlights of the last week or so. Now, with the right mood in place, the leader should quickly go over the meeting's agenda just to get everyone on the same page. The length of the meeting depends on the objective. If the purpose is to exchange information and monitor progress, then an hour is usually enough. If you want to brainstorm and develop new ideas or projects, then 2 or 3 hours would make sense. If working together even longer is necessary, then it's probably better to call it a strategy day and create the program for the whole day. A good idea is to send a meeting schedule to participants beforehand. This should cover the purpose of the meeting and the length. What's more, use plenty of visuals. It helps a lot to explain your ideas. Also, writing down ideas that come up at the meeting on a whiteboard helps to keep the discussion on track. A visual learning style dominates in many people, and using visuals helps them to better understand. Definitely think through what tools you'll be needing for a meeting. For example, arrange a meeting in a room that has a whiteboard, a data projector, or whatever is necessary. Even the most productive and successful meetings could lose a lot in value if there is no follow-up for the meeting. It is perfectly common for people to leave a meeting with a sense of absolute harmony, only to later disagree on everything that was said and agreed upon. And that's why it is important to send everyone a brief report on what was discussed and decided and what tasks were assigned. You should do it in the following 24 hours, or you yourself will actually forget what was discussed. Feeling overwhelmed? Don't be. The good thing about teamwork is that it isn't all on you. This video wraps up the members course. I suggest taking up another course after finishing the exercises. But for now, time to exercise.